All right.
Uh,
So, Rebecca,
yeah,
how are you today?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good too. Are you nervous? Because today you are on camera and on Tuesday you were on the keyboard.
Yeah, it was a little nicer to hide behind the keyboard than to be on screen. I feel more pressure
Today
this
there's
time.
no escape.
Yeah, I know.
Guys, you can ask questions, okay? Because, of course, in this first moment, let's recall like who we are and throw back today's Thursday. So the topic today is to talk about our experiences at Topway teaching English. Rebecca being a Canadian. Okay, Rebecca, introduce yourself properly, please. Not,
Okay.
I don't want to introduce you. You have to introduce yourself so students can practice their listening skills as well.
Okay. Well, then, and everybody can tell me if I'm speaking too fast or anything. So, as you know, my name is Rebecca. I used to be a teacher at Topway. I work as an editor now. Yeah, I'm from Canada. My family's all there. I'm living in the United States right now, actually, with my husband. My husband is Brazilian, and that's how I ended up being there in Brazil for many years. And I'm sure I'll be back again before long.
How did you end up down here in Brazil?
Yes. I had the good fortune to fall in love with a wonderful Brazilian guy, Carlos. And yeah, he was doing medical school in Pelotas. He's from Porto Alegre originally. And we had been living in Canada for many years. And he, was saying that he was missing his family, wanted to go back home and study there. So I said, okay, I'll come with you, packed up my bags and headed down to Pelotas with him. And
Mm-hmm.
yeah, that's how our story went.
Cool.
Yeah.
Guys, how are our voices leveled? Are they okay? Should I do something about mine? Should Rebecca do something about her
I
volume?
really hope I don't need to do anything because I have no idea what to do.
Well, but I think things are going great. So
Awesome.
when was it? How long ago
Yeah,
that
so
you came to Brazil with Carlos, with your bags?
yeah. So I first moved to Brazil at the end of 2009, and we were in Porto Alegre for a bit while Carlos was doing vestibular and all that stuff. And then in 2011 is when he started medical school in Pelotas, and so that's when, or it might have been 2010. Anyway, around that time is when I came to Pelotas, and he was studying there. And it was in 2011, I think, that I started at Topway.
Hmm. Yeah, that's my next question. How did you find out about the English school that speaks only in English?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Carlos found you guys for me, actually. I was there and I was a little shy and I didn't know what to do. I had a linguistics background, so I was hoping that I could do something, maybe with English teaching down there. And I'm pretty sure Carlos went there and talked to Doug and Julio. And
Hmm.
they, said they were interested in having me come in. I came in and did a little interview, and I started teaching there shortly after that. And it was great. I'm, still one of Topway's biggest fans all these years later.
I remember I heard about you before I met you for a
Hopefully something
week, I
good.
guess. I guess our schedules wouldn't be together. We wouldn't teach at the same time. I think that because I remember, oh, Rebecca, the Canadian girl, Rebecca's in the house. Rebecca, I keep like, who is Rebecca? And so and then we met, and I was really, oh my God, she's Canadian. Oh my God, I have to watch my language. I have to watch my English. Oh my God, yeah, it gave me for the moment. But then, of course, nobody is afraid of you because you are lovely, so it's impossible. And then, do you remember when exactly was that? Do you remember like the day, your first day at Topway?
So I don't remember the exact date. I'm pretty sure it was the beginning of 2011. And I was a little nervous to teach at first. I didn't have much of a teaching background, but the students were so nice. And like I said, Julio and Doug were really supportive, helping me.
They are amazing.
Yeah, wonderful, wonderful people. And helped me get comfortable, get set up there. I started teaching just the book 4 and master classes and the conversation listening type classes. because it's a little hard for a person who's not a native speaker of Portuguese to teach the early as the people just starting out learning English. So, but later on, I ended up teaching some of the beginner students, and it was a lot of fun.
But you know, we hear about that, oh, native teachers, native English teachers, and this is amazing to have a native English teacher. But you just showed us the only thing that you guys, let's say, might lack, is that sometimes Brazilian students of English, we have recurrent mistakes, let's put it this way.
Right.
We have ways to understand the language and try the language, and we have some mistakes that we can divide them into columns, and okay, and we are very used to that.
Right.
So it's very challenging for a native speaker of English come and teach in our methodology beginners. The more advanced students, okay, you always did a very good job, and they always loved you. The feedback was always amazing, always very good. Yes, and of course, students like the linguistic barrier. Can you give us an example of what Portuguese word or expression? Because okay, you taught here in Rio Grande do Sul, in Pelotas.
That's right.
And language varies very much from place to place. But do you remember having a hard time with any expression that later on it was okay for you, but at first?
Well, it's hard to think of something specific, but I know that I really had to get used to the rhythm of speech, because generally people take the rhythm of their native language and carry that over into their next language, right? So once I had more of an ear for the flow and rhythm of how Portuguese is spoken, then I could understand, like, oh, I need to kind of work with that rhythm when I'm interacting in English with non-native speakers. Yeah, you know, it's funny because people often will use borrowed English words in Portuguese, but they don't get used the same way in English. So that causes a little, you know, funny confusion, but...
Notebook is a very good example of that, right?
That's right. We were talking about that the other day, how everybody calls their laptop a notebook, right? But for me, a notebook is just a thing you write in, a caderno, right? So yeah, that's a good example. What's funny is, so I have a son, as you know, and when he was very little, when he was just born, people in Portuguese kept talking to me about a tippy-toppy. And I was like, what's a tip top? What's a tippy toppy? You know, and it's something I think that like a onesie for us in English, right? But they use the English word tippy toppy, and I was like, I don't know what tip top means. You know?
Yeah. Well, I'm a father myself. I didn't know we borrowed this one as well. And I didn't.
Maybe it's something moms know. I don't know. Something the ladies know about baby stuff.
Favorite food and favorite place. Good. Let's get to know more about you a bit.
Well, you know, the food is one of the things I miss the most about Pelotas. There are so many good places to eat good quality food for an affordable price, you know. There was a restaurant, I think it's called Trembão. Do you know it's like a kind of Minas Gerais type food, right?
Yes, but food from Minas.
Yeah, it's so good. I loved going there. And I miss having like Bauru. I miss having
Bauru.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool.
I miss like all of us, we used to go to Intervalo all the time together near the university. I miss the food there. Even like simple things, the way popcorn and churros on the street, you know, like you don't get that as much here in the same style. So Carlos and I often talk about how we miss the food in Brazil.
I remember you told me once about açaí.
Yes.
That you like you tried it for the first time here in Brazil, and then when you got back to Canada, you found it there, right?
Well, I thought I had found it there. There's a place that sells smoothies, you know, kind of healthy drinks and stuff. And I saw on the menu, they had açaí, and it was açaí na tigela. And so, you know, I'd been living in Brazil for a while. I was like, okay, so I go up to the cash, and I was like, oh, could I get the small açaí na tigela? And the girl like looked at me like I was crazy. And I was like, that right there? And she was like, you mean acai na tigela? And I was
Acai na tigela. That's
yeah,
that's cool.
I was like, yeah, that's what I meant.
So this is something specific. This dish is people is like, or people love it or people hate it. You guys, do you like acai na tigela? I want you to put your opinions there. Do you like it? Acai na
Who
tigela?
doesn't like acai na tigela?
Na tigela is very good. If you're not getting the joke, Rebecca learned how to like learned about açaí na tigela here in Brazil. When she got back to Canada, she saw it written the same way we write it, açaí na tigela, and she said, I would açaí na tigela. And the server, the waiter in Canada corrected her that she was saying that the wrong way. Oh, you meant acai na tigela. People were saying, oh, Bruna doesn't like it, Josie likes it. Felipe doesn't like it. You know Felipe? Felipe works in videos. Let me see. Yeah, Zell said we.
Oui, oui.
Anthony, yeah. So I guess most people, let's see, most people like it. I love acai na tigela. See, people learned a new dish today. Sorry, I used to hate it, but I ate the wrong one. Sure. So then you. Myron loves it. I like to eat it now. Marcio saying acai na tigela. Yeah, now on we all say acai na tigela. We had a question here, Rebecca. I'd like you to help me. Victoria said that she hates it, but if you put banana and then
Granola?
quotes leite em pó, it tastes better. Yes, it's powdered milk, right?
Yes.
How do you spell it?
Powdered
P-O-W.
milk.
Yeah.
Deredmilk.
Sorry.
So Powdered.
Dered. Yes, powdered milk. Then, for how long have you taught in Topway School?
So, yeah, I started teaching in 2011. Unfortunately, I was only there for a few months. At the time, I didn't have the right kind of visa. So I had to go back to Canada. When I went back to Canada, I did my master's. I was gone for a couple years. Came back to Topway in 2013. Luckily, Topway welcomed me back, said, hey, it's okay, come on back and teach. So, yeah, I was teaching again in 2013. But then I moved over to the pedagogical department at the end of the year, I think the end of 2013, beginning of 2014. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, on one hand, it was sad because I really liked teaching. Anytime I went to the school and it was time to teach, I just felt happy. I don't know if you've ever had a job where you went and you dreaded going to work and you were just kind of like, well, I gotta work and it's gonna be so long. When I would arrive at Topway, I was just like, yeah, it's time to teach, it's time to work. You know, it was a great environment. So yeah, I was a little sad to leave the teaching, but you know, since my background is in editorial and that kind of thing, it was a good move for me to go over to the pedagogical department. So I was there full time in Pilates until the end of 2015. Then I had to move. But as you know, I've continued to do some work for Topway since then, which is really good for me. I'm Topway for life.
I share the feeling of leaving the classroom behind a bit in order to do other stuff. After 2015, you said, yeah. Right? So after 3-4 years at Topway, you moved to a different department. And we got to know, we learned some new skills you have that before doing what I'm about to show people here, but people know that. People have seen the videos in the workbook. But before that, had you ever recorded stuff? Have you ever acted?
You know what? When I was a kid, I was really into drama and theater. So I was in school plays always when I was a kid. I was in the school choir, did a lot of singing. And actually, before I moved to Pilates the first time, I worked briefly for an English school, a small English school in Porto Alegre. And they needed someone to record a bunch of materials for them. So I went to a recording studio there and I recorded some audio stuff. But it was just a little things here and there. Nothing quite to the extent as when I got to do some stuff for Topway.
All right. So when you guys open your workbooks, you have the QR code leading to YouTube right here. Take a look. Of course, you guys will have to see it reversed because of the screen. But here we have videos that Rebecca recorded with Moody as well. So this is Moody. Moody, that is. You are Moody. No, Muriel Aldrigues now. Which one was a challenge for you, Rebecca? Do you recall? Which video was fun,
So
crazy?
I think Moody would agree with me that almost all the videos were fun in their own way to make. But there was a very funny one where I played a police officer interrogating Moody.
Police officer, day 12.
Is that the one?
Yeah, I guess so. Take a look.
It's a very special one.
I guess I should keep it small. What the hell? Oh, Topway Police Department, yeah. Take a look.
All right, Mrs. Davis. What did you do last night?
Jesus, is that you?
Last night, I what? Then I went home.
Poor
then
Maureen.
I watched a favorite program on TV.
She's got to face my serious interrogation.
Yeah, you're questioning in a very intimidating way.
Oh, yeah. As intimidating as I can be, I think.
But what were you doing at exactly 8 p.m.? At 8 p.m., I was cooking my dinner. Were you cooking all by yourself?
Can you guys hear it? Is it okay?
I think they can hear
The
it.
volume?
Husband was there with me. All right, then. No further.
Take a look at that! Take a look at that!
You can call my husband if you want. All right, then. No further questions.
My gosh!
All right. Let's take a look at 2 sentences.
No, I like it very much. Take a look. Take a look. The glimpse. Take a look at that.
Oh, yeah.
I can't imagine you doing that, like, really being like hard on us, like questioning this way. I like that Moody froze here for the next part. Take a look.
Let's take a look
That's Moody.
at 2 sentences.
Completely frozen. My favorite one is day 7.
Which one's that?
Day 7 is the one with the right or wrong approach towards ordering things or asking for favors.
Who got me a cup of coffee?
This one is great.
Yes, it can.
The cute faces. Of course, you would laugh a lot after that.
Yes, very much. And
You couldn't take it seriously, like 2, 3, 4 lines without bursting out in laughter.
yeah, it was very funny. Sometimes we would just look at each other and laugh, but
Of course.
it came out well.
Guys, day 7 on your workbook, I guess students are recognizing your voice. I hope so.
Well, actually, it's funny that you say that. I had done some audio stuff early on for Topway, and then I was at the gym one day in Pilates, just by myself, and I think maybe I talked to Carlos briefly, and this girl came over to me really fast, and she was like, "You're Gabriella, I recognize your voice from," I guess I played a character named Gabriella or something. She's like, "I recognize your voice from Topway." I was like, "What?" Like, somehow, me just speaking a little bit, she knew it was me and was excited to put a face to the voice from her materials.
That's the price of fame. You can't even work out with privacy anymore.
I know. I was just trying to get my sweat on at the gym.
Marujo, what city do you work?
Right now?
Yeah, I guess so.
So
At Topway, you worked in Pilates?
I worked in Pilates. But after we left Brazil, we came to the United States, actually, for my husband to do his medical residency. So we're living in Nebraska right now, kind of right in the middle of the United States.
In the middle of the map.
Yeah, we're right. If you look in the middle, you'll probably see Nebraska. So we're in Nebraska right now. We've been here for a couple years, and in a couple months, we're moving back to Canada. So,
Oh, cool.
yeah, we're going to move to a little town that's close to the capital city, Ottawa. which is where Carlos and I met and where we went to university together, and it's a wonderful place. So we're moving there with our little guy, and hopefully everything will go well.
And how this quarantine thing is going there for you? How has it been there?
Yeah, so I think it's kind of the same everywhere, that everybody's mostly staying home right now, right? Trying to avoid public places. So I've been mostly staying in our apartment with our little guy. I think he's getting a little antsy. He wants to get out and run around and be in the sunshine.
This was the last word I learned, antsy.
Antsy, that's true. I used it with you,
yeah,
didn't I?
on Monday. On Monday, you said that Sam was a little antsy and was like, what is antsy? And then looking up, this is what we believe that will flatten the curve of the outbreak. So
yeah,
we believe this is the right thing to do, right?
Yeah.
Zélia asked if you have a favorite Portuguese word.
So many. Does it have to be a clean one?
It could be an expression, an idiom.
One of the things that helped me with Portuguese and picking up on words and stuff was that I could already speak Italian and French, which are also Romance languages. So for me, I would notice similarities, and that would help them stay in my mind. You know, I could make the connections between the two.
Italian as well. I didn't know.
Yeah, but you know,
that.
I've lost people ask me to speak Italian now, but I've lost a lot of my Italian because my head's all full of Portuguese now. So.
Of course. Sorry, we took over.
Yeah, it's okay.
But then you okay? Let's not be like, let's not make jokes. Do you like chimarrão?
Oh, I love chimarrão. You know, I think I like it more than Carlos does, actually. Like
Really?
Yeah, I would often sit and have chimarrão with his parents, with his family, and you know, he wasn't having any, and just be like, oh yeah, Rebecca's a gaúcha now, right?
And how would you explain chimarrão for another native speaker? Try it. This is chimarrão, and what is it?
Yeah.
What is it made of? How would you explain chimarrão in English?
I usually, when people ask me about it, I say that it's kind of a loose leaf green tea, you know, that you drink out of and then I have to explain the cuia and bomba, right? But
right, yeah, in a kind of cup with a kind of straw.
Yeah, exactly, and that's what I say basically. It's a sort of cup with a metal straw that goes in it, and you drink the tea out of that. When my parents came to visit once, when Carlos was graduating, and they tried chimarrão for the first time, and they thought it was very strange. You know, it was totally outside of their realm of experience, but you know, they went for it. My mom was like, oh yeah, it's just like a nice green tea, you know.
A green tea.
Yeah.
That's cool. Moon is saying something funny here. She said herbs that you drink.
But they are not drugs.
But they are not drugs. Yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah. If you explain that, you need to explain into detail. Otherwise, you might get some misinterpretation there.
You have to be careful if you travel from Brazil to North America and you put some matcha in your suitcase. You know, and especially since they come in these like packages, like it can look bad on the X-ray machine in your suitcase. So
you gotta take pictures and explain.
Yes.
People drinking.
I know like people have had to explain before.
He asked you, how do you exercise nowadays?
It's been a little.
Hi, Andrea is here too. Hi, Andrea.
Hello. It's been a little tough. We live on top of a gym, actually. Our apartment's on top of a gym. So it had been very convenient before, but now with social distancing, we're not going down to the gym. So I do a little workout in my apartment. I got free weights, you know, do my jumping jacks, and Sam and I do some kids yoga every morning. There's this really cute little YouTube channel called Cosmic Kids Yoga. And, you know, Sam and I do all our positions and everything together. He loves it, I love it. So.
Another question for you from Erica.R.Z. Do you indicate any series for this quarantine?
Ooh. Well, I don't know if you guys...
I think the first question, we need a first question. Have you been watching any series recently?
Yes. I think I'm watching a little too much, you know, TV, too many movies, but
I guess that's what we have to do, right? If we can, we should stay home and watch TV.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. This one, I think the final season came out last year. I don't know if you guys have heard of Fleabag. It's on Amazon Prime to watch. Prime
Fleabag.
TV. Yeah, Fleabag. Fleabag.
Fleabag. I heard feedback. My listening is terrible.
It won a bunch of awards. It's a really funny, sweet, strange show, a British show, and I loved it. So I recommend that. I've been watching Westworld too. The new season of Westworld just started. So it's really good. And I mean, you can go back and watch the ones that are finished now, right? Like Game of Thrones and Breaking Bad. Or you can be watching Better Call Saul, right? So
I never watched Breaking Bad, so
what?
I think I watched the first episode and I really liked it, but then I just didn't continue watching it.
That should be your homework. Go back and watch Breaking Bad.
Well, right, yeah. I already heard about Fleabag, someone said here. Yeah. Okay, so we got Fleabag and Westworld. And I binge watched Westworld in this quarantine. I am in the 3rd season now.
Good.
So I have to follow a bit more to catch you up, but I'm almost there, and it's really crazy.
Yeah, this season is crazy.
Westworld is really crazy. Breaking Bad is amazing. All right, another question for you from C. Nevert. What type of music do you like?
I like a little bit of everything. I don't think there's anything that I wouldn't listen to, you know. I like a lot of independent music, you know, sort of the folky poppy kind of music. I love old samba music, you know, like Beth Carvalho.
Old samba.
My son and I listen to Beth Carvalho a lot. He loves it. Like one of his favorite songs is Coisinha do Pai.
And I have one more. Here one more. What are the main differences between Canadian and Brazilian culture? Good question, Moody.
Yeah. You know, I find that, number one, Brazilian people tend to be more effusive and overt, showing lovingness and friendliness. Like, Canadians are friendly, you know, polite people, but they're a little more standoffish, you know, and like their personal space. I had to get used to in Brazil, you know, kissing on both cheeks and... but I ended up, you know...
Especially with me, I know. People always tell me, don't hug.
Well, I ended up liking it very much. I love the closeness between people in Brazil. So that's something I'm sure everyone is missing right now, you know, being social, isolated stuff. But
yeah, sure.
Yeah.
We are going nuts because of that.
So that was one of the other thing that I noticed is that Brazilians take a proper time to do things. For example, taking time to sit down and have coffee rather than taking a coffee to go, or sitting down and having lunch, and, you know, sitting with a friend and talking over lunch rather than if you're at work eating at your desk. So there's things like that again, I wasn't used to it when I moved to Brazil, but I ended up loving it. I appreciate it very much.
All right. I have a question about NBA. Sorry, my cell phone has just... Rebecca, Mateus, Rebecca, do you watch NBA? I'm a Toronto Raptors fan. I still shiver every time I see the buzzer beater from Kawhi. I'm sorry, man. I don't know how to pronounce Kawhi Leonard. Probably people that like it will get offended, but are you reading this with me?
So I'm not reading, but I saw it out of the corner of my eye. So I was never a huge basketball fan, I'm sorry to admit, but it was exciting for every Canadian for the Raptors to win. Yeah,
because they got the last one, right? They got the last season.
And that guy ended up getting traded after. You know, Toronto was really disappointed that guy who, you know, scored the final basket, that everybody in Toronto loved him, and then he got traded. So people were disappointed by that.
Too bad.
Yeah, but all of Canada was united in, you know, not watching hockey, watching basketball instead. But I myself am a hockey fan, you know, grew up playing hockey. My whole family is into hockey. So, yeah, I follow that more than I follow basketball.
Maida asked you, do you have any pets?
I used to have a cat, my wonderful little black cat named Chomsky.
Chomsky, of
yes.
course.
I know people who know linguistics always laugh at me for naming my cat Chomsky.
Saucier.
So anyway, I used to have a black cat, but Carlos actually developed a severe allergy to cats. It was really bad, and so we ended up giving him away to a friend in Pilates. But he, you know, then he's just living a wonderful life in Pilates, living out his final days because he had very old.
Chomsky is here.
Yep, little piece of Rebecca there in Pilates.
Maida said, what's your favorite Canadian singer or band? Very good question, Maida.
There's so many that honestly I think Canada has a great music scene. There's a female singer named Sarah McLachlan. She sings very, calm, peaceful sort of music. I don't know if you guys know her. She's great. Another female singer, Sarah Harmer. I really like her music. And I put Broken Social Scene too. They're a really great band to check out. There's some other ones that people might already know, like Bare Naked Ladies. People might know that. Justin Bieber, yes, as Moody said, or maybe, Celine Dion. She's the one that sang the Titanic song.
Yeah, sure.
There's all
she sings it, and I love a lot, all by myself. She does. Rebecca, do you speak Portuguese? Do you speak Portuguese a little?
Sim, eu falo português, mas meu sotaque não é muito bom.
But that's the thing we have to tell students. You shouldn't worry about accent.
Yeah, I know.
So,
but there
it's
you
something
go.
that comes with you. I'm getting here.
Am I still here?
15 second.
Yeah. Anyway,
can you see that as well? We have here like 10 seconds. We're about to finish.